Let us have a microphone.
Say unto others that you would have them say unto you.
Say unto others that you would have them say unto you.
Only way louder.
Only way louder.
Yesterday, one of the speakers at the labor rally said we found each other. That sentiment captures the beauty of the space that has been created. A wide open space. As well as an idea too big for any space. A place for all the people who want a better world to find each other. And we are so grateful. If there's one thing I know, it's that the 1% loves a crisis. Because it is during a crisis. With the panic and fear. That they are able to push through their wish list. Of pro-corporate policies that they can't push through otherwise. So they privatize education. And they go after Social Security. And they slash meager public services. Serving the most vulnerable among us. And they say, sorry, we have no choice. It's a crisis. Amidst the global economic crisis. This is happening everywhere in the world. The 1% is trying to stick the rest of us with the bill. For their crisis. Fortunately, there is one thing that can stop this tactic. And it is a very big thing. The 99%. in 1999.
That came to world attention in Seattle in 1999.
I'm proud to have been part of what we call the movement of movements.
What we call the movement of movements.
There are parallels, but there are differences too. But summits are transient. They only last a week. That made us transient too. We'd appear and then disappear. And in the frenzy of patriotism and militarism, that followed the 9/11 attacks. It was easy. To sweep us away completely. Occupy Wall Street, on the other hand, has chosen a fixed place. With no end date. This is very wise. Only when you stay put can you put down roots. So that when the storm comes, we don't get washed away. Being horizontal and deeply democratic is wonderful. But these principles are deeply compatible with the hard work of building
structures.
and institutions that are sturdy enough to weather the storms ahead. countries.
It seems there aren't any more rich countries.
Just a lot of rich people.
Just a lot of rich people. Just a lot of rich people.
People who got rich, looting the public wealth.
People who got rich, looting the public wealth.
And exhausting and polluting our natural resources.
And exhausting and polluting our natural resources.
Today, everybody can see that this system is out of control.
Today, everybody can see that this system is out of control.
Unfettered greed has trashed the global economy.
Unfettered greed has trashed the global economy.
And it is trashing the planet as well.
And it is trashing the planet as well.
We are overfishing our oceans.
We are overfishing our oceans.
Polluting our water with fracking and deep water drilling.
Polluting our water with fracking and deep water drilling.
Turning to the dirtiest fossil fuels on the planet.
Turning to the dirtiest fossil fuels on the planet.
You're the conductor. I like it. Like the Alberta tar sands.
Like the Alberta tar sands.
The black hole at the center of my country.
The black hole at the center of my country.
The atmosphere cannot absorb the amount of carbon we are putting into it.
The atmosphere cannot absorb the amount of carbon we are putting into it.
So the new normal
So the new normal
is serial disasters, economic and ecological.
is serial disasters, economic and ecological.
We all know, or at least sense, that the world is upside down.
We all know, or at least sense, that the world is upside down.
We act as if there is no end to what to the natural resources that are actually finite. And we act as if there are strict and immovable limits
And we act as if there are strict and immovable limits
to what is actually bountiful.
to what is actually bountiful.
The financial resources that we need to build the society that we dream of.
The financial resources that we need to build the society that we dream of.
The task of our time is to turn this around.
The task of our time is to turn this around.
To insist that we can build a decent society, an inclusive society.
To insist that we can build a decent society, an inclusive society.
While at the same time respecting the Earth's natural limits.
While at the same time,
What climate change means is that we have to do this on a deadline. This time our movements cannot
get distracted.
or divided or burned out, and we can't let them collapse into infighting.
And we can't let them collapse into infighting.
This time we have to succeed.
This time we have to succeed.
And I'm not just talking about regulating the banks or taxing the rich. Though we should do that too.
Though we should do that too.
We're talking about change. is what is happening in this square.
This is what is happening in this square. This is what is happening in this square.
In the way you are feeding each other.
In the way you are feeding each other.
And keeping each other warm.
And keeping each other warm. And keeping each other warm.
And providing free health care.
And providing free health care. And providing free health care.
And meditation classes to stay sane.
And meditation classes to stay sane.
What? You don't like meditation?
What? You don't like meditation?
My favorite sign here.
My favorite sign here.
Says I care about you.
Says I care about you.
In a culture that trains us to avert our gaze to one another. That trains us to say let them die.
Say let them die.
That is a radical statement.
That is a radical statement.
Woo! In this great struggle that we are all a part of.
In this great struggle that we are all a part of.
Here are a few things that don't matter.
Here are a few things that don't matter.
What we wear.
What we wear.
Whether we shake our fists or make peace signs.
Whether we shake our fists or make peace signs.
Whether we can fit our dreams for a better world.
Whether we can fit our dreams for a better world.
Into a media soundbite.
Into a media soundbite.
Woo! In this great struggle, here are a few things that do matter.
In this great struggle, here are a few things that do matter.
Courage.
Courage.
Our moral compass.
Our moral compass.
How we treat each other.
How we treat each other.
We have picked a fight with the most powerful interests on the planet.
We